important update on this BTC chart on the daily. This is a daily chart. Bitcoin, it has not failed yet on this daily chart. And I just want to talk about the move that is currently happening right now in the short term. Cardano on the daily. Let's discuss. Looking pretty ugly previous days. I want to talk about that move on the short term as well. So please just hit the subscribe, hit the like. This is just going to be a straight technical analysis, straight to the point type of video. I want to start real quick on Bitcoin monthly. Nothing crazy, just a reminder. Zoom out on the cycles. I did a video maybe a couple of days ago, maybe it was yesterday, I don't remember, but there is just a lot of macro bullish confluence, a confluence of multiple different indicators, whether that's these charts, whether that's on-chain metrics, whether that's just global events, election events, anything. Zoom out on a chart. As we dig into these charts for kind of some context to what we're about to discuss, and it'll be pretty brief on the daily, I just want to show a clip from the other day really quick. But this Fibonacci is resistance. This means the bullish confirmation is for Bitcoin to break out of it. So it would be, I would say, fair to say that's a tough move for Bitcoin. You can actually even see on the hourly, so I zoomed in here on the hourly chart, but we're going to look at it real quick on the daily chart. This is Bitcoin hitting that resistance. That was a Fibonacci that we were talking about in the video. It was these lower high Fibonaccis. They're one of my favorite indicators, many of you know, but swing high to that swing low, and Bitcoin, you can just see testing that 786. I think when I was doing the video, and pretty much since then has just fallen. It's failed. We have 4 daily red candles right now, but there's a couple of things I just want to mention to you. We're in this very large consolidation. This swing high back here was back in March. We have this channel that we've been tracking, huge breakout target to the upside, obviously $85,000, $90,000, let's call it 85. But for that to happen and for breakouts to occur on a chart like this, there's just going to be a lot of volatility. And it oftentimes, especially when we're starting to zoom out on the cycles of Bitcoin, these things just take a while, right? Now, in regards to this shorter term move, Bitcoin, if you remember, was just at $53,000. I mean, beginning of July. And then all of a sudden, boom, made its way up to $68,000. This pullback right now, I'm not going to say if it's going to go lower or not, but I will say that is 100% normal. I've realized, as I always say, whether it's a daily chart or a monthly chart, we always just want to see this, right? Up, 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 up. We need higher lows. Like, we need pullbacks. We need day after day of red and people doubting, I guess it's not going to break out. We need that. Now, this Fibonacci retracement was a very good indicator and a helpful tool, as most often is, to just say there's some resistance here. That would be a really nice area just below that upper trend line for Bitcoin to retrace, and it has. Now, the next thing to look for is, well, where could there be a bounce? Where could there be support? And it's, for me, in situations like this especially, it's always moving averages, especially as we have a 20 trying to cross back above the 50. In moves like that, right, we always anticipate the pullback to that area. And if you've been watching my videos for some time, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So right now we have Bitcoin on the daily, and I don't know if it'll hold or not, but this is what I'm watching on the daily, holding at that 50-day moving average, that blue line. But we also have the 20-day just below that. We could fall into the 62s, right? That's around $62,300 or so. And then we have the 200-day moving average around $60,400. This was always in play, these moving averages. And I'm just kind of hanging out, waiting, and just seeing how Bitcoin interacts with these areas. This rejection makes sense to me. Would have been great to get a rejection more at this upper trend line, at least testing that trend line. But maybe we get a support off of these moving averages, a bounce, and then we're actually testing the upper trend line here. So all of these things can move very quick. They can change very quick, just like you saw back here, this swing low, people probably panicking right there, and all of a sudden, boom, right? So that's Bitcoin right now. Let's pivot over to Cardano. And actually, I want to give a shout out to the sponsor of today's video. This is iTrust Capital, actually posting about Cardano the other day. Well played, iTrust. Launched in 2015 by Charles Hoskinson. Cardano ADA aims to create a scalable, efficient, and environmentally sustainable blockchain. Just a great post. And here's what I love. I really want to point this out. iTrust. Cardano community. First off, thanks for mentioning Cardano ADA. But look at that engagement. Cardano community knows what's up. They know who to support. iTrust Capital. They're a big player. I would say, one of the biggest players in this space. And, they did this article on what is Cardano, but you can buy and sell a bunch of crypto, gold, silver with your IRA. There are so many benefits to that. Obviously, speak to your tax planners and all that good stuff, your CPA, to understand how all of that works. But if you're a macro-minded person like I am, I trust Capital, their product, the way they've built things, the team that's behind. I trust the amount of customers and positive reviews that they have. Please check it out. Click the link below. Sign up with them. It's incredibly easy. Look, you just open an account and you can just very simply get started on this form. So hit the link below. Thanks, iTrust, for sponsoring this video. We'll pivot to ADA charts. On the monthly, one thing I just wanted to point out, because it's something I'm keeping in mind, right? Zoomed out, it's always good to zoom out. But this MACD, we've talked about this before. There's not a ton of data, right? There's not enough data for this MACD going all the way back here, right around last Bitcoin halving. But you can see this part of the MACD, the histogram, light green. And it kind of was just consolidating, and then boom. We're in a very similar thing, in a light green area at a very similar area of this cycle. That's something I'm just curious of, to see how that plays out. We're going to dig into the daily chart to get a sense of price action right now. Even right now, it's falling even more. It's below 39 cents now. I know a lot of people are getting frustrated. The weekly chart is actually very frustrating to look at. I give the good, the bad, and the ugly, and all the in-between, everybody. And I do want to point out, I'm not a fan of this rejection at the 50-week moving average. That is an area that I genuinely would like to see ADA get above. If you look at last cycle at this time, all back here, really, post-Bitcoin halving, ADA fell below the 20-week while it was consolidating in a very similar move of consolidation, right? We've noted the move has happened way earlier this cycle, which I think is a good thing. And that could partly explain why it's kind of falling below these moving averages. But if you notice, last cycle, it was above the 50-week moving average that entire time. And this cycle, it's fallen below. And it's been critical, I think, for Cardano to get back above that area. If crypto continues to the upside and we see a bounce, in the short term, even the midterm, Cardano is going to likely break these moving averages, right? And so it's just kind of a patience waiting game type of thing for me. But I will say, I don't like seeing that happen. I would have absolutely really liked seeing ADA close that weekly candle last week and then get some separation, not only above the 50, but also getting back above the 20, because ADA's got some work to do. We still got to turn around this 20-week moving average, right? This kind of move right there. So that's what I'm watching on the zoomed out for ADA. We're still at a good moment of this cycle, plenty of time in my view, and that's kind of what we're going to talk about now in the daily. But here's the daily move for ADA. ADA turning around this 20-day, that 20-day trying to cross above the 50. Look at that. It did cross above the 50, and then boom, we're falling below. What is going on? I want to bring in some more perspective to that move. And when we get these cross, right, the 20-day cross above the 50, as we always do, we're always looking. We kind of just looked at, a pullback on Bitcoin, 2 moving averages, but we always look for a pullback to the area to see if there's support. And the story of this flippening, right, the 20 back above the 50, there's oftentimes some type of consolidation. So I wanted to point something out to you. 96 days post Bitcoin halving. I believe that's around what it is. 96 days post Bitcoin halving. Here's where we are. This is what the chart looks like. If we go back to last cycle, and I'm going to show you on the daily, same daily chart, look at 96 days post Bitcoin halving last cycle. This is what ADA was doing. It was falling, and if we look at this, it still had to fall all of that way and all of that way. We're looking at another, right around almost 40% fall, right? Ultimately, a fall of 55% or so. That's where ADA was this time last cycle. And that's just for a zoomed out context. But for zoomed in context on the daily chart, check this out. Notice what ADA did when it actually was getting that 20 back above the 50. Look at this move. Right back down, right back below. ADA falling below all of that mess, and then ultimately bouncing back up. There was a story here for the flippening of the 20 above the 50, right? And so that's why I say, you know, and actually we can even just go back. Look at this. We don't even have to use the last cycle, that moment last cycle. We can go back and we can even look at right here. Check this out. This was like the bottom of the bear market, this past bear market. 20-day. All right, we're about to cross the 50. Nice. And then boom, red candles falling back below. What's going on? And then there it is, the ultimate flippening. So in moves like this, I don't like to just be like, oh man, support failed, we're automatically bearish. I always have my fail safe, which is a Fibonacci. So swing low to swing high. There it is. Fibonacci retracement. 36.5 cents to around 34.5 cents. I'm waiting to see how this plays out, not only for Cardano, but for Bitcoin as well. But this is my analysis today as we track crypto price. I know it's not exciting, everybody. If you're here watching the video, thank you for watching the video. I appreciate you. Hit the subscribe. Look at my camera. My camera moved. What is going on with this? Hit the subscribe, hit the like. I'll see you in the next video. God bless.